Hey everyone, Casual Daddy coming at you with a little deck deconstruction with my buddy here, Daxos of Meletis. So, Daxos is one of my favorite decks to play in my weekly Commander pod. And this past weekend, I noticed some opportunities that the deck had. And what I mean by opportunities is when I play in my Commander pod, I like to see how the deck fares against obviously my opponents in the pod, but also specific things that might target the deck, whether it's direct damage, not enough draw, not enough land, whatever it is, and spot those. And when new cards come out, it's always nice to switch out some old cards in the decks and upgrade it. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to show you how I would take apart a deck like Daxos, examine it, build it, and kind of see where we have to improve. So let's, without further ado, let's get started. All right, give you guys a little background on this. This was one of my first Commander decks that I had ever played. It is a life gain deck, so it's not a deck that necessarily is going to win by attacking. It almost never does. It wins by having over 40 life, having over 50 life. It can do 50 damage. It can win during your upkeep, flash in cards. It really is a life gain deck that is supposed to keep your opponents away from attacking you. I think my record on this, no, actually my record was 180 something on another deck, but I had over 150 life with Daxos and still lost many times. So it is, it's not a tier 1. It's probably maybe tier 5, tier 6. I mean, it could be higher if I put more tutors and things in there, but we don't play broken decks in my pod. We play decks that are just fun to play, that we enjoy. So we just make them competitive. I mean, if we're constantly losing, you know, we bring the same deck, we're going to improve it, but we're not going to make it like 1 or 2 turns stupid. That's just silly. So first thing I already noticed is for some reason I had a Marsh Flats in this deck. And as you can see from Marsh Flats, it does not share a color with Daxos. So give you guys an idea on what Daxos does. That is my buddy Daxos right there. Hopefully that's not too close for you guys. But basically when he attacks, your opponent is going to take the top card of their library and flip it, exile it as the card says. You can then cast it with any color mana if you choose to. Otherwise it just gets exiled and then you gain life equal to that casting cost. So Daxos is only a 3-drop commander. He gets out there pretty fast. So the goal, of course, is double strike's good. Any way you can get extra hits in there, unblockable. Yeah, he cannot be blocked by creatures of power 3 or greater, so that is an asset in most commander pods. So that's Daxos. So let's fix him. We already know the Marsh Flats is coming out, so that's a land thing. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my cards. I'm going to sort out my land to non-land, just so we can kind of get that easy part out of the way. So let's do our land and our not land. Now, my play group does play with proxies, so we do have some cards where they, of course, are not real. I like to have a good mix. I like the physical cards, like the way they feel. Obviously, I like to collect things, so that's fun too. So usually my decks are kind of like half and half. If it's a super expensive deck, though, I will just print it out and proxy it because, again, I'm a casual player. Some of this is an investment to an extent, but I also have a house and responsibility, so can't always just blow money on Magic cards. Although I am definitely guilty of whenever I go to the store, at least buying a pack because, well, when I was a kid, that was one of the most fun things we ever did. Go to the store, open up a pack of cards. It's just the best. My friends know what I'm talking about, even though we don't all do the physical card thing, but it's nothing can ever replace that cracking of the pack, that's for sure. All right, so we're almost done here. Already seeing some opportunities, which is great. And basically my goal of why I'm doing this is I want to speed it up. You know, number 1, I want to improve the land. Number 2, and just see if there's any better cards out there available. So basically what I'm going to do today is I'm going to sort out my cards the way I would construct a EDH deck. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to see what I can pull out. And then, of course, step 2 will be going online and looking and seeing what new cards are out there and what we can do. So first things first, we're going to start with the land. So I'm a basic land guy for the most part, just cheaper, it's easier. So we're going to sort our plains and our islands, and then we're also going to sort all of our multi-purpose lands and kind of see what we have going for us here. Can any improvements be made? Anything of those sorts. So just get our basic lands out of here. All right. So Daxos, three casting cost commander. CMC average is probably 4 in this deck, maybe 3. So we do need a little bit more land to get out the big, the win con decks. So let's see what we got as far as basics. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 planes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 islands. I do like that, so that's not a bad thing. So we are at 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So I only have 35 in here, 36 with this one I have to replace. I'm okay with that. But let's look at some of these lands that we have, these miscellaneous lands, and see if we can replace them. So I already see an Evolving Wilds and a Terramorphic Expanse, both in here. I probably don't need both. I probably can find some blue-white, non-tappable lands that I can just print out and go from there. So we're going to put these to the side as maybe our replaces. All right, so we got a Flooded Strand, which is plains or islands, so we definitely want to keep that guy in there. And then this one is actually one of our win cons, so that is Emergent Zone. Emergent Zone allows me to play spells with flash that don't normally have it. So untap, snap, upkeep, whatever, or I should say untap, yeah, or end of my opponent's turn, you know, playing those win cons that trigger him upkeep is very useful. We got a Maze of Ith, that's pretty decent land, we're going to keep that. We got a Wasteland, that's flexible, so we're going to keep that with our Terramorphic and see if it's something we want to keep. Hallowed Fountain is a pay, but it's a 2-lifer, I think I'm okay with that. 2 or more opponents, the Sea of Clouds, definitely a great land. Treasure Vault, so I have Treasure Vault in there. I mean, it's probably doesn't need to be at a 2 casting cost or 2 color deck. I may look to replace that one too. Calciform Poles. This is, you know, again, week 2, because you got to pay to put stuff on it, and we definitely can speed that up. So we're going to get rid of that. One of my favorite, the Pathways. Definitely going to keep that guy. Our Proxy Tundra and our Command Tower. So already we have 5 cards that or 6 if you count the stream, that we probably can flop out of here. I want to keep the Wasteland in there because that's being staged sometimes can be a problem, so we're going to pull that guy back in. The Terramorphic, the Evolving, the Treasure Vault, again, all this can be switched out. So we already have temporarily right now the 5 that we're going to work on swapping. So we're going to put these to the side as cards we can improve upon. Take the rest of our land, and we're going to put our land in one pile because we are done with that. So, all right. Okay, so next, I think let's look at creatures. So let's pull out all of our creatures and kind of see what we got going on. There's not a lot in this deck. Daxos is one of a few creatures. So most of the rest are in here just for various combos or life gain. So there we go. A couple of win con creatures, which I'm seeing, which is nice. A couple fetch creatures. All right. We got some whales in this deck as far as creature goes. Let's take a look, shall we? Consecrated Sphinx. He's not going nowhere. Or sheep. Whatever the Sphinx determines itself to be. Hey, more power to you. Weathered Wayfarer. Great way to tutor for land. Keep that guy. Here's one of our win cons, the Feldar, I think it's Feldar Sovereign. It is Vigilance, lifelink, and if you have 40 or more life during your upkeep, you win. So this is one of our win cons, definitely has to stay in the deck. Archon of Coronation, become the Monarch. Damage doesn't cause you to lose life. 5/5 for 6, it's expensive, but again, when I have 200 life, I don't want to lose it. Evra, Hellcrown Witness, exchange your life total with Urva's Power for 4. It's huge when my life total is 180. So it just stinks when that thing gets killed and I lose, and I already swapped it and someone has a way to get rid of it. So you got to be real careful when you're doing that. Another one where Soul of Eternity, it's equal to my power, so that's perfect. We want that. That's a big guy. Loxodon, Life Chanter. Again, another one of those things where the life total becomes the card, so a good creature to have. We have a Stuffy Doll in there for defense as well as for one of the combos we run. Loyal Drake for draw power. And then Syrah Ascendant, because you start off in Commander with 40 life and you get to that first turn, it's a nasty beast. So I think creature-wise, we're keeping them all. There's nothing I need to take out. So I mean, again, we might put more creatures in based on what else we have, but I think we're good there. So that's that. Let's pull out our enchantments next, which are honestly the core of this deck, because you almost can't win without them. Let's see, a lot of enchantments in here. Lots of enchantments. Okay. Told you, a lot of enchantments. All right, let's see what we got. First off, Words of Worship. You pay 1 the next time you draw a card this turn, gain 5 life instead. There is a combo with the Well of Lost Dreams, another one of my win cons, so we're going to keep that in there. Imprisoned by the Moon. Several of my play group love this card, and by love I mean they want to absolutely fuck it in the ass because it fucks them in the ass. So, and maybe they like that. I don't know. I guess I never asked, but all I know is this is never fun when it comes out, except for me. But it does give them mana. Ristic Study, obviously a no-brainer in a blue deck. Guilty Conscience, another one of those infinite combos. So you pop this guy on Stuffy Doll. Every time it's doing damage, Stuffy Doll, it does damage, it deals damage to itself. Call one of your players, and you're basically infinite damage them. So we're going to keep that. Propaganda is in here, as well as Ghostly Prison. Again, I got to have some defense, so it's a little pillow fortish, but I'm okay with it. So Light of Promise. Whenever you gain life, put them any 1/1 counters. That's nasty. We're going to keep that. Land tax. Every white deck I own has land tax. I love the art and I love the ability. Battle Mastery for Double Strike. Aqueous Form for Unblockable. That's especially important for my big creatures who I switch the life total with. Unblockable. It's one-shot kills. Test of Endurance. 50 or more life, you win the game. Another one of my win cons in Daxos. Staggering Insight. It's a 2-drop. Chandra creature gets +1 and has lifelink. Whenever this creature deals damage, draw a card. It's a really good card. I had this. I've never been able to play this card. Hopefully that's going to start changing. We got another defense card here, Collective Restraint, where creatures can attack me unless they pay X, where X is the number of basic land types. So it's always going to be 2. So if I get all 3 of these out, I mean, you are talking about 6 damage just to swing at me. So that's pretty good defense right there. And then one card I keep in there just for shits and giggles is a Confiscate. So I can take control of an unruly permanent on the battlefield that is hurting me that game. So once again, I'm not going to pull a single one of these out. They're all good. They're all useful in the deck. There's no reason to change those. Right now, the lands are all I really need to improve. All right, so we got some instants and sorceries. We're going to go ahead and swap those out. We also got some artifacts. So let's go through and let's sort the remainder of these. And then we'll go through each pile and see if we can find some more winners. All right. Sorcery. Okay. A lot of artifacts too. Forgot about that in this deck. Okay. We also found another land. We got a Core Haven, which is pay 1 and a white, and you can add prevent all combat damage to be dealt by attacking creature this turn. It's a pretty useful card when you got somebody coming at you to wipe you out. So I'll keep that land in there, and it's still going to put us 1 over what I probably need to be at, but I'm okay with it because lately when I played Daxos, I haven't been mana screwed, and that's big in my opinion because I'm not always the greatest at that. Speaking of mana rocks, let's look at our artifact rocks because I already see some I want to switch out because we need more than, we have 4. It's not enough. Arcane Signet, fine, no-brainer. Soul Ring, fine, no-brainer. Soul Talisman. So I stocked up and bought a bunch of these when the set came out, and it's a good card. Don't get me wrong. You get this on turn 1, turn 3, you're already popping. So it's not awful. However, that spend counter pisses me off every game because I'm looking at it going, this can't be 3 turns already. Oh, it takes forever. We're going to swap that out. Probably going to put a Commander Spear in there just for the draw power, and it's the same mana. You think about it, 3 turns, 3 mana, whatever. So I think we're going to make that switch. And then we have a Chromatic Lantern, which is going to stay as well. So just the mana rocks right away, we can already see we're adding another one and to our group of cards to swap out. All right, let's look at some of our artifact equipment. And we have Rogue's Gloves, which will let you, when an equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, they'll draw a card. Daxos isn't getting blocked, so it's a good card to have. So that one can definitely stay in. We have a Fire Shrieker, double strike, so that one's going to stay in. Again, we want to get that double draw, the double trigger. Swiftfoot Boots for defense, and a Lightning Greaves too. So we don't have a Whisper Silk in here, which may be worth adding, but not, doesn't 100% need it. And then we have Force Field, one of my favorite cards of all time. Pay 1, and you only take 1 damage from a source. It's really awesome. It frustrates the hell out of my opponents, so we're going to keep that in there. Again, got to have some defense with our win cons. So a couple other cards we have in here, a couple win cons. We have the Almaret's Archive. If you gain life, you gain twice that life. If you draw a card, draw 2. Again, it's like a Caged Sun or an Immortal Sun. It's a no-brainer in a deck like this. The Well of Lost Dreams. So this is that infinite combo we talked about. Whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is less or equal to the amount of life you gained if you do draw X cards. So basically, you're paying 1 with the Well, or I forgot the other card already, which is embarrassing because I should know it by heart. But let's pull it out. I'll show you guys. Words of Worship. There it is. So, all right. So you got Words of Worship, where you're paying 1. And if you next time you draw a card this turn, gain 5 life. And then this is whenever you gain life, you may pay X, where X is less than or equal to the amount of life you gained if you do draw X cards. So as long as I have mana, I can keep gaining life. It gets pretty nasty, but again, got to have the mana. So we're going to keep the Well of Lost Dreams in there. And again, just so you guys can kind of see that combo. I wish I could explain it better, but that's not for me to do. There are your 2 cards. So, all right, we'll put that back in the enchantment. We got an archive. Aether Flux Reservoir, pay 50 life, deal 50 damage. You know damn well that's staying in there. And then we got 2 different ones in there, which I'm not quite sure of. So we got the Sword of War and Peace. It's pro red, pro white. And it says, when it deals damage to a player, the sword deals damage to a player equal number of cards in his or her hand, and I gain 1 life. So it's a neat card, but it really doesn't fit into the mold. And I'll bet you we probably can have a better card in there. So we're going to take out this sword, and we are going to swap that one out. So we're going to keep that in there. We got a Eternity Vessel. Enters the battlefield with X charge counters, where X is your life. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you may have your life total become the number of charge counters. So unless somebody has a way to pull the counters off this thing, it's a good, useful thing to have if someone has a way to turn your life to 10, say, which happens a lot at our play group. There's I think it's a blue-white card or a blue-green that does that. It's frustrating and annoying. So we're going to keep that in there too. So again, we went through our artifacts. We're good. We're going to get rid of the Talisman. We're going to get rid of the Sword of War and Peace, and we're going to upgrade and change those. All right, let's look at our sorceries. Approach of the Second Sun, one of my win cons. Flash it in, instant win, very nice. All right. Actually, it's the only win con, I think, from our sorcery. So let's take a look. We got End Hostilities, destroy all creatures, need some wipes. We got Fumigate. We got All Is Dust. And Phyrexian Rebirth. And yeah, those are our wipes. So I like to have 4 or 5 board wipes, especially in a white deck. So we're golden there. Those are staying for sure. And let's see what else we got. Exile all creatures. Exile is huge in Commander, so there's our 5th board wipe. So we're great there. Dance of the Mance. Return up to X target artifact or non-aura enchantment cards. Extra some battlefield. If X is 6 or more, those permanents are 4/4 creatures. It's a great card. I'm going to have stuff that dies, but I've never had to use this card. So we're going to take it out. Now, I know you're saying, just because you didn't have to use it, why are you taking it out? Well, because I've never fucking used it. I could put something in there that's better. I've never had to really worry about graveyard resurgence because we're Bajuka Bog and we're popping graveyards. You know, we're Graph Digger's Cajun, whatever it is. So I'm just going to swap that out for something more useful. Solve the Equation. Nice tutors. Library for Instant or Sorcery. Definitely want to keep that in there because we like board wipes and we like finding them when we need them. Invisible Hymn. Count the number of cards in your library. Your life total becomes that number. Again, another useful card. If I'm getting picked on early, which does happen, I will bust that out just to get back up. That's the thing with Daxos. Everyone knows I'm going to gain life, so they're going to come at me hard like a spider monkey. How do I combat that? Well, I got to gain life so that I can defend myself against said spider monkey. If an opponent controls more lands than you, search your library for 3 planes. Gift of Estates, another great way to tutor. So we have our mana really solved. That shouldn't be an issue in this deck. Let's look at our instants now. See if there's anything out of here we can pull out. Good old Mana Drain. We only run, I guess technically it's 3 counters, right? Yeah, so I run Mana Drain and Counterspell, and then Cryptic Command, just because of Cryptic Command's, what's the brain farting here? Sorry, guys. It's flexibility, whatever you want to call it. How it can do, obviously multiple things and defend you in multiple ways. So we're going to keep those for sure. Beacon of Immortality, double target player's life, sure. Path to Exile, of course. Cyclonic Rift, of course. Mystical Tutor, of course. So you can see blue-white, there's some common themes you need to have in your deck. Sanguine Sacrament, gain twice life, yep. Return to Dust and Teferi's Protection, two very big white staples. You always want to keep those in your white decks. Sphinx's Revelation, gain X life, draw X cards, love that guy. Heliod's Intervention, target player gains twice X life, or I can also destroy artifacts and enchantments with it, and of course, an Enlightened Tutor. So, again, I don't see a single card in that bunch that we can possibly pull out. Giggity. I would like one more tutor in there, so I might put Idyllic in there, just because it lets me fetch and pull, and I kind of think that's the change that I want to make. So, in conclusion, we pulled out a sorcery, a couple of artifacts, one being a mana rock that we can pull out and we can make better, a land that didn't even belong in the deck, and then just 4, utility lands that we probably have better options out there for. We just got to, look up and see what they are. So, cool part is we allow proxies in our play group, so cost is nothing. But do like to own some real cards too. So I do hope, this deconstruction, you guys learned a little bit of how to go back through your decks, take a look at them, see your opportunities. And a lot of it isn't just, I love making a deck and trying to figure out in my head what's going to happen. It's way easier when you get into a group and you get into a play group and kind of play it over and over and over again and see what's going on. So play testing's fun, it works, but it doesn't replace the real deal, definitely. But I hope you enjoyed today's video on how we deconstructed Daxos, and I'll be sure to let you know how the reconstruction goes through. This is Casual Daddy, signing out.